Good morning. Welcome to March Regional Rally for KW Colorado. I'm Russ Knowlton, your Regional Director. Shout out to Kelly Sutter, our Regional Ops Manager, Leslie Jackson, our Regional Tech Trainer, and Jenny Schlip, our Regional MCA. Today's agenda, we're going to start with some announcements. We're going to do a tech update with Leslie. We've got some agent and market center recognition, then a mega market update with David Heine, and then our 2025 goal reset conversation with MAPS coach Tim Beverlin. Let's jump right in. Train the Presenter is happening at KWDTC in Centennial on March 19th and 20th. There are still some slots available. If you're looking to work on upgrading your presentation skills, whether it is for teaching classes or listing presentations or buyer presentations, Train the Presenter is a great opportunity for you. It's being taught by Holly and John Prescott, KWU Master Faculty. Awesome opportunity. Still seats available. KWColoradoEvents.com to register for that. Our Peak Performer Summit is right around the corner, April 7th. It's 9 to 4 at the DCSD Legacy Campus in Parker. Couple key, important speakers for this. Tommy Spalding is going to be talking about leadership. I don't have his book with me right now, but he's going to be talking about the gift of influence, how you can use influence and increase your influence with your clients, with people that you care about. Tommy Spalding is a New York Times best-selling author of multiple books. He is a leadership guru. We can't wait to hear from Tommy. Tony Giordano is going to be talking social media. Cooper Thayer is going to do a market update. Will Van Wickler is going to share one strategy that in his first year of real estate grossed him $1 million GCI. Don't miss that. And Bo Belmont is going to be sharing a tech an app that his team has created that will help you find more listings and help you work better with your SOI. In addition to these speakers, we've also got a number of panels, and you can sign up for the Peak Performer Summit at KWColoradoEvents.com. We're also doing a digital event in April. On April 30th, Tyler Shields from the Rocky Mountain Educational Services is going to be doing the Online Leads Playbook. This is going to be a digital event, 9 to noon, April 30th. The Online Leads Playbook will be taught by Tyler, and the proceeds from this, 50% of the proceeds, will be a donation to KW Cares. So we're excited about this. We would encourage you to attend and to invite people from all around the KW ecosystem. Savannah, there's Savannah. Take it away.
Hello. Okay, thank you. My name is Savannah, and I am now a Quantum Leap instructor and bringing this to Colorado. For those who don't know what Quantum Leap is, it's a class that Gary Keller created for young adults between the ages of 18 and 29. And it's an all-day course, and it goes over the fundamental principles of success, not just in your business, but also in life. This class absolutely changed my life, and that's why I'm so passionate about bringing it to our community. Before this class, I was immersed in the Keller Williams culture, but struggled to find my purpose and wake up every single morning and have like that burning passion to just get up and run. And this class found that passion for me. In this class, we will create your mission. We'll create a GPS around your mission, and also just give you a 135, or not 135, a 411 plan also to be able to accomplish your goals. So I'm super excited to be teaching this. It'll be April 26th from 10 to 3. If you are between the ages of 18 and 29, you have a chance to win free coaching and also receive $10,000 in scholarship money towards your mission in life. So I would highly encourage you, if you have kids that you want to take this class, or if you're just looking to help find your passion also, this is open to all ages. Just between 18 and 29, though, can qualify for the coaching and scholarship.
Awesome. So we can invite our kids to do this as well, or grandkids.
Yes, you can.
Awesome. Thank you, Savannah.
Yeah.
nextgen.com/Colorado to sign up. www.nextgen.com/Colorado. All of our events, as usual, are located online at kwcoloradoevents.com. You can subscribe to this Eventbrite channel, and you will be notified whenever we post something new. I want to turn it to my good friend, Amy Dieselkamp. Where is Amy? There she is. Hey, Amy.
Hi, how are you guys? Thank you so much, Russ and Kelly. You guys are always awesome, and I love it when you guys let me come to your events. Colorado region, my name is Amy Dieselkamp. I'm with Growth Minded Talent Solutions, and I'm here today to talk to you a little bit about the services our company provides, which is talent recruitment and help with onboarding and training your new team members. I know a little bit later today, you guys are going to be hearing from Tim Beverlin, and he's going to be talking to you about resetting your goals for 2025. As you guys work through that with him, one thing I'd ask you all to keep in mind is if you're not currently on track with your 2025 goals, who is missing from your business? Because the majority of the time, it's not a what that's missing from our business that's holding us back from the goal, it's a who. And if in reflecting today with Tim, you find that you are in need of help through leverage, whether that is an operations person to help keep your life organized and your transactions organized and in touch with your clients, or a marketing person to help get your social media up off the ground, or an ISA to help you with your lead generation and lead follow-up and getting those appointments set. My team and I, we do all of those things, and we do them at a really high level. It's our one thing is having a deep understanding for what's going to take businesses to the next level and identifying the who and the really talented people that are going to be a helpmate to you. So if you find that you are in need of a new who in your business, feel free to reach out to me for a free consultation, and we can talk a little bit about the specifics of what you're looking for, what your businesses need, and how we can be of service to you. So thanks so much, Russ and Kelly, for letting me be here today. Guys, feel free to use that QR code. It'll take you right to my website, and you can schedule a free consultation with me.
All right. Thank you, Amy. Amy, somebody texted me about 5 minutes before this meeting started, and she said, who's that lady that's always talking to us about helping us add members to our team and whatnot? So I just handed your info to one of our people. She'll reach out to you, I'm sure, today.
Fantastic.
We appreciate all of our sponsors, including Top Flight, Home Loans, Growth Minded Talent Solutions, Rocky Mountain Title, Choice Home Warranty, and the coordinator team. I'm turning it over to Leslie. Leslie, are you running the slides or am I running the slides?
You're going to run the slides for me, Russ, please, and thank you.
Okay, awesome. Take it away.
Good morning, everyone. Happy St. Patrick's Day, by the way. This Thursday at 11 a.m., as usual, I will be here ready to teach you some really fun topics. This Thursday will be around listing landing pages. It's probably going to be the quickest class that I have taught so far, just because that's how quick you can create them in Command, which I love. So I'm going to teach you how to save some time and, of course, market your listings. And then March 27th, we're going to talk a little bit about due dates, smart due dates, and opportunities to make your life a lot easier and to make you all look like rock stars in front of your clients. All right, next slide. As usual, our YouTube channel is at KW Colorado Region 7. We actually upload all of our videos from actually today's call and in my classes, of course, and more. So go check that out. All right, so there has been a couple of updates. One is you will now receive an email link every time that you export your contacts inside Command. That link will actually expire after 24 hours, but just yet another notification that you will receive via email. So go check it out. The next thing is a quite interesting one. There will now be date restrictions, text auto date restrictions inside Smart Plans, which means that there are a few states that have calling and texting regulations on specific days. Well, our tech just got smarter. Once you turn this on inside settings, This will prevent those auto texts and auto calling tasks to deploy out to your database that actually live in specific states. Those states are Alabama, Louisiana, Mississippi, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, South Dakota, and Utah. If for any reason you have your database in any of those states, I highly suggest to go back and turn that on so that command knows not to deploy those text messages or any automations out on those specific days. So really smart.
Like what kind of days? What are we talking about here?
Sundays, New Year's Day, Martin Luther King Day, President's Day, those days of, and you can see all those listed inside command in those settings.
Cool.
Yeah. And that's it, Russ. That's it for me. Thanks,
Awesome.
everyone.
Thanks, Leslie. Don't miss Leslie's classes on Thursday. So we want to do a little bit of agent recognition here. Top individuals, February 2025. We're going to start with closed units. In number 5 place, a tie, Corey Martin, Serena Goring, and Stephen Henson. Number 4, 6 units, Lloyd Crum and Kevin Everson. And our top 3 for February, thank you, Leah, for February on units, Faith Young tied with Heather Christensen for number 3, Joe Claire for number 2, and Hussein Garcia with 12 units for number 1. Great job with your closings. Moving to volume, Dan Derman was the 10th spot, Tim Wade the 9th, Adite Lepina Lawrence from Longmont, number 8, Michael Smith, number 7, Heather Christensen, number 6, Dan Egan, number 5, Hussein Garcia, number 4, and our top 3 for closed volume, Joe Claire from Southwest Colorado, number 3, Tony Giacconi, number 2, and Nick Ivanchich from Denver West with almost 10 million in 1 month. Great job, Nick. Moving on to GCI, Sheila Bailey was number 10, Lydia Golesh, number 9, number 8 was Tim Wade, number 7, Adite, number 6, Mikkel. Numbers 5, Hussein. Number 4, Dan Egan. And our top 3 for GCI, Tony Giacconi, number 3, Joe Claire, number 2, and Nick, number 1 from Denver West. Great job, individuals. We're moving to teams. Teams mean 2 people that are licensed and in production. At number 3 for closed units with 3 units, wow. Livy and Amaya Property Group from Grand Junction, Jill McFerrin Group from Partners, the J&J Group LLC, Northern Colorado, Ideal Ascent, Summit County, the Vincent Group from Castle Rock, Van Westenberg Partners from Denver West, also your team Colorado from Denver West, from DTC Seed Property Group, and from Pueblo team Rochelle Cozzolino. Congrats on your closings. Number 2 was Pasternak Properties from Pueblo, tied with Place 87 Alliance team from Denver Tech Center, the Blonder team from Northern Colorado, and Platinum Properties team from Client's Choice. And number 1 for units, a tie between AN Homes from North Jeffco and the Thompson Group from Northern Colorado. Great job on your closings. Moving to volume, top 10. Your team Colorado from Denver West was the 10th spot. The J&J Group LLC from Northern Colorado in the 9th. The Vincent Group from Castle Rock, number 8. Lark Mountain Group was number 7 from Denver North. 6, Discover Colorado team from downtown. Number 5, the Blonder team from Northern Colorado. Number 4, Place 87 Alliance team from DTC. And the top 3, Ideal Ascent. 2, the Thompson Group. 1, AN Homes from North Jeffco. Great job. GCI, top 10. Harberts and Sons Homes from DTC. Number 9, your team Colorado from Denver West. Christy's just getting here after we called her name. Number 8, Platinum Properties team from Client's Choice. Number 7, the J&J Group from Northern Colorado. Number 6, Lark Mountain Group from Denver North. Number 5, Place 87 Alliance team from DTC. Number 4, the Blonder team. And the top 3, the Thompson Group, Ideal Ascent, and AN Homes, Denver North Jeffco. Top groups. This is more than 2 people in production. For closed units, the Tiffany Home team closed 6.65. In the 9th spot, 7 units, a tie. The Dixon group, the Gallegos group, and the Brenna team. Number 8 was the Kibler group from Partners. Number 7, the Onyx group from Pueblo. Number 6, the Awaka group tied with PCS Pro team, tied with the Leans group. Number 5, Trinity Team Real Estate Denver North. Number 4, tie between Empower Home Team Colorado Front Range and Livian Grand Junction Group. And our top 3 closed units groups, excuse me, Jamie Baker Orr tied with Colorado Lifestyle Real Estate Group. The Luchik Group for number 2 with 20.4 units. And the Johnson Team Downtown Colorado Springs, 26 units. Great job, groups. Moving to volume, Jamie Baker Orr came in 10th spot. The Gallegos Group in the 9th. Livian Grand Junction was number 8. The Awaka Group was number 7. 6, Trinity Team Real Estate Denver North. 5, the Leans Group from Denver West. The Empower Home Team Colorado Front Range from DTC was number 4. And our top 3 closed volume are the Luchik Group from Klein's Choice, Colorado Lifestyle Real Estate Group from Denver Tech Center, and the Johnson Team from downtown Colorado Springs. Great job, groups. GCI, the Leans Group was in the 10th spot. The Gallegos Group, 9th. Lantern Home Group, 8th. Jamie Baker Orr Team from Pueblo, number 7. Number 6, the Tiffany Home Team from downtown Colorado Springs. Colorado Lifestyle Real Estate Group from DTC. Empower Home Team Colorado Front Range from DTC was number 4. And our top 3 groups, GCI, were the Johnson Team from downtown Colorado Springs, Trinity Team Real Estate from Denver North, and the Luchik Group took the top spot with 287,369. Great job, groups. Expansion is next, and the KW reporting for expansion groups was not published, has not been published yet for February. We are sorry. We will get you your recognition when it is published. So congrats to all of our top performers. Market Center recognition. For closed volume, KW Client's Choice was number 5 with 46 million. Denver Central, number 4 with 52 million, almost 53. Top 3, Denver West, Denver Downtown, and DTC with 115 million in closings. Great job, all. Units, Client's Choice was in the 5th spot. Denver West in the 4th. Partners in the 3rd. Denver Downtown 2. And DTC with 181 units was number 1. Finally, listings taken. Client's Choice took 96. Denver Downtown 97. Pueblo 105. Partners 122. And DTC 132. Great job taking listings. We're going to turn it to David for a mega market update. David, you have slides?
Yep, I'm good to go. I'm just going to kind of have some browser stuff going on here.
Cool. Take it away, sir.
Thank you. Can I share? That's the real question. I am not seeing the ability to share. Bear with me. My video mirror.
Do you see it under more potentially?
Let's see, more captions. Yeah.
I think Kelly.
Why do I not have it? Kelly, can you confirm that I have the?
Yeah. I just looked and it's set up that way, so you should be able to
more.
see it. Yeah, it should be there.
That's what I'm saying. That is so weird. Let me try something else real quick. I'm gonna hop over to another Zoom.
I'll remove that until we get that figured out.
Just a moment here. Let's, can we make him a?
He's coming in. He just came in under another Zoom. But yeah, I'll make him a co-host too.
We have it now?
Well, you have me.
You're sharing Kelly's face.
All right. Can we all see the 10-year treasury?
There you go. Yep, we see you.
Fantastic. We're going to dive into 10-year treasury, talk a little bit about some showing time metrics, and then touch base on InfoSparks, one of my favorite platforms for looking at some of our data here. First and foremost, we had a little bit of a peak here in the 10-year. This is really our main mover and indicator for our interest rates out here. So when we hear about pending interest rate cuts, when we hear about the market shifting, this is a great resource for us to keep a real good pulse on exactly what those rates are doing, because this is really the foundation for our interest rates out here. So we're going to keep January 13th here in mind. This was kind of the peak of what we saw this year so far, just over 4.78, and we saw it slide a little bit. We've probably heard about some alleviation in the markets here in the last couple of weeks, and this is exactly what we're kind of reflecting here in the 10-year treasury. So we've seen the rates come down a little bit. Feels like it's opening up some activity with the buyer pool, but where are we actually going to see some of that tangible data that we can utilize for listing appointments or for explaining to our buyers out here what's happening in the market? One of my favorite spots is here in showing time. We've got the target market analysis under reports. If you've never gone into this, this is a great way to see where the activity is for the buyer pools, so you can kind of position your property appropriately depending on kind of where you might stick. So we can still see we've had this trend for a while where we're kind of sitting between that 400 to 600 being our main showing activity sector. So if you do have a listing within that 400 to 600 range, or a little bit over, a little bit under, you might look at adjusting pricing to get you within that pocket, because we are seeing most of our activity there. We do get some here in the 600 to 700s, kind of dwindles as we get a little further down the ladder here, and then we do kind of stabilize right around that 1 million to 1.3 mark. We see a good pool of buyers that are just kind of remaining pretty steady, and then we get a little further into the luxury market and it starts to dwindle a little more. So for those of you out there in that 400 to 600 market, this is a great opportunity. We've got a lot of buyers right now, and this is just basically 30 days worth of data. So this is pretty updated, still showing that 400 to 600 range is going to be a very strong market for those of you out there in that realm. But use this tool for your buyers, use it for your sellers. Just a great way to show you exactly where that volume is going. And then if they're a really detailed person looking for more data, it breaks it down into averages and even the shows per listing within each sector there. Fluctuates a little bit, but your big batters right now are still at 400 to 600 range, which most people find somewhat affordable. It's also kind of that starter home feel. A lot of first-time buyers. We're at our new buyer pool, average of 38 years old for our first-time buyer. So this buyer pool is really starting to pick up, looking at some of these first-time homes within that sector, the 400 to 600. Last up, InfoSparks, great place to kind of see what's going on in a bigger picture. So here we're looking at 3 years back to 2022, and then each of these data points is by month. So we're going to kind of go along the bottom here and work on averages, depending how you want to compartmentalize it. You can do medians. I'm a big fan of averages. It just helps paint a good picture for me. So closed prices, we're seeing an increase again coming from January. And there's a reason for this. Part of that's going to go back to the 10-year treasury. We're still seeing a little bit of decrease in that as it came down from the high fours into the lower fours. If we really break into that threes section, that's, I think, going to be a turning point for our mortgage applications increasing quite a bit. It's going to be a turning point for activity just in general for the buyer pools. It's going to help people qualify. New listings are also up though, so our inventory is climbing a little. Saw a good drop here towards the beginning of January, very trendy with our seasonality that we typically tend to see here. And so we can kind of start to feel coming out of this year what this is going to look like as we pick back up on new listings, but as well as closed and pending listings as well. Jumping over to our actives, we can definitely see that trend over the 3-year line here. We hit kind of a weird blip here in December where it felt like the faucet just shut off. Now we're starting to re-alleviate some of that coolness that we were experiencing. Feels like things are picking up a little bit more as well. And what I'm pulling right here now is full RE Colorado MLS What I like about InfoSparks is that you can come up here, you can search a certain city, zip code, area, and really dial it in when you're going to look for some more localized market data. Pending listings jumped again. So December, they flatlined, just like we saw back there in active listings. The pendings are following those pretty closely. We're seeing a lot of what I call recycling in our market right now, where 3,000 come in 1 month, and then 2,800 go under contract, and then another 2,500 close. So we're just seeing a lot of recycling without a lot of buildup of inventory, but the new listings is going to continue to increase. But it seems like our pendings are following suit here. So we're seeing some good strength in the pending listings as well. I'm starting to run into more multiple offer situations, just more activity in general on showings and whatnot. Closed listings, they're starting to jump. We saw our cool down again coming from our peak of May last year, kind of ran through our fall season into winter, and now we see that we're kind of at that bottom that we've experienced back in 2024, back in 2023. I know 22, 23, we're still kind of in a shaky market with coming out of COVID and whatnot, but it seems like we're running into some nice stabilization here. We actually didn't bottom out quite as low as we did the last 2 years with closed listings. So they are remaining a little bit higher than where we did bottom out in 23 and 24. Days in MLS peaked in January. We did come down just slightly in February. So that days in MLS on average is indicating that there's a little more activity. Buyers aren't letting these properties sit quite as long out here, giving us some good opportunities to say to the sellers out here, hey, looks like our spring market is kind of starting to open up like we've experienced in the past, right back there in January of 24, January of 23. That's when we start to see those days on MLS start to decrease from there as we get into our spring market. And then ultimately, the pendulum swings back once we head towards fall. That was our Colorado seasonality. Months of supply, again, they have reduced coming into December. A lot of listings got withdrawn from market, they expired, and now we're seeing a lot of those coming back. I know that I had a handful of those personally that are now coming back for the spring season. So we can expect a handful of supply increase coming down the pipeline. However, it is keeping up with our pendings. So we got to keep that in mind as we recycle this inventory. Close the list. Remaining strong. We're starting to see that come back up, especially with the days on market decreasing, pending listings going up, potentially stronger offers coming out. I'm seeing some potential multiple offers as well. It's a good indicator that we're headed into a good, nice spring market coming up here in the next couple of months. Volume, same thing. We're going to see just very similar trends here, but this one, just like we talked about on the closed listings, remained a little bit over our baseline from 2024 and 2023. So we didn't swing quite as hard into that bottom out for this year, and it feels like we're coming out pretty strong for our spring market. Shows depending, they're starting to come down. Just like days in MLS, the less showing depending, the stronger our buyer pool is looking, the more apt they are to be writing offers, moving quickly on properties, not wanting to wait to see what happens with the property. For example, I'm hearing less of those conversations and a lot more proactivity with the buyers out here. So that's a good sign for 2025 yet again. And then shows per listing also just kind of remaining stagnant. They did take a 0.1 drop over the last month, but that's a reasonable number. On average across the MLS, 5.7 shows per listing. If you're having slow showings right now, don't take that as a sign of potential, missing the mark yet, as we are starting to just ramp up into our spring market. So if you're watching the rates out there to convey to people, use that 10-year treasury. It's US 10Y. Gives you some good info. It changes it all the time throughout the day, but it's going to give you a good indicator exactly which direction those rates are headed. And then if you are going on those showing appointments and have buyers out here, make them aware what that buyer pool looks like. If you have buyers competing in that 400 to 600 range, that's the most activity. If they're down a little lower, could be a good possibility that they're not having so much competition, as well as if they're on the higher end of the spectrum as well. And then get into those InfoSparks as things update and change. Definitely gives us some good indicators as to which direction we're going to be moving here, and helps us prepare our people even more for what's going on in the market.
Awesome. Thank you, David. Appreciate that.
Welcome.
We're going to turn it over to MAPS coach Tim Beverlin. I think he's here, but I don't see him. Kelly? Oh, there he is.
Hey, good
morning,
Russ.
Tim.
Great to see you.
Good to see you. Thank you for being here today.
It is my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, take it away.
All right, we're going to jump into some things. I got to catch a little bit of those numbers, so that was really helpful going into this conversation. So, a special thank you to Russ and Kelly and Leslie and Jenny for having me here today. I wasn't sure if you were all going to be in one room and I was going to get to talk to a room, or you're all going to be on Zoom. I'm grateful you're all on Zoom. It makes this so much easier. And we're going to jump right into it. I think I have the ability to share my screen.
Yep, you should be
Here
good.
we go. All right, how does that look? Everyone able to see it okay? Quick thumbs up.
Yep.
All right, I'm like 7 coffees in today, so if I start to talk too fast, just say, hey, slow down. And for the record, I have green socks on. I see Kelly's shirt, I see Stephanie's shirt with the green. I've got my green socks on. I didn't have a great green button-up shirt, and an Eagles t-shirt seemed like it might be offensive for this group, as I am from Philadelphia. So let's get right into it. The topic today is 2025 goal reset. The strategies for catching up still in 2025. Here we are 2 weeks away from the end of the first quarter. How do you feel about that? You can come off mute. Just the interactive part.
Somewhat panicked.
Thank you for that honesty. All right, so somewhat panicked. We're already a quarter of the year, and the reality is by the time we get to November, the year is pretty much decided at that point. Anything new I put under contract in the middle of November is likely going to close in 2026. Now, being a MAPS executive coach, one of the questions I'm asking my clients this week, do you have your 2026 business plan built yet? Now, for those of you that just had a small heart palpitation at that thought, breathe through it. So far, I am having 0 individuals that have had their business plan set to go for 2026. Yet it's an important question because as we look at where you are today and we get into some of what we're going to cover today, let's attempt to do this a different way. What are my goals? So if I think back to last October, last November, for some of you, maybe you started last August or even September, what did I write down that was actually important for me to accomplish in 2025? There's a follow-up question to that. Why was that important? Why did I say that selling 100 homes in 2025 was going to be important? Why did I say selling 50 homes or 500 homes or whatever your number is in number of transactions? Why did I outline that as something important for me to accomplish? I'm going to be shifting screens, so breathe through this with me. How about our Life by Design form? If I go back to my Life by Design form, if you're using a tool like this, and I look at where was my profit intending on going in 2025? What were those goals I had that real estate's going to be funding? What are those areas of my life that I intend on funding with this business? Section number 2 on here kind of goes through my personal expenses. What does it cost me to live? Now, for some of you right now, you're saying I'm already behind my goals and you're making me focus on expenses. And that's by design. Do the expenses that I planned on or that I outlined back in November, back in October of last year that I had planned on for 2025 still apply to what my life cost here in 2025? I know that I made some plans last October, last November for what I want to accomplish in the first and second quarter of this year. Do they cost more or less? Not all at once. Anyone's expenses going
more.
down this year? Things are cheaper for you? I need to move to Colorado if that's the case. Yet the
They're costing
reality is
more.
I need to make adjustments. And thank you for the chat box in there as well. Yes, more expensive. Eggs are so expensive. Yes, Leslie, they absolutely are. Everything went up in price. So while I want to revisit this for a moment, before I really look at what I want to accomplish in 2025 and any adjustments I need to make, are these expenses still accurate? Because if we're going to build a plan and we're going to reset our plan, wouldn't it be helpful to have accurate information? So my housing payment, great news, that stayed the same. Oh, wait, taxes did go up for my property taxes. So maybe that did get adjusted. Food, that's gone up because I do like to eat eggs. Utilities, about the same, monthly payments, anything else. I'm going to go through all these categories. If you're wondering what is all of this stuff, I would encourage you to talk to your MAPS coach, talk to someone that has been to or plan on going to Profit Camp. Amazing class you can attend. It'll walk you through all of these things as well. Then I get down to the third section, which is my cost of sales for my business and any splits I might have with my team members if I'm on a team or if I run a team. Last but not least, what are my business expenses before I get into taxes? I'm not going to spend a ton of time on the math portion of this. You just got out of looking at a lot of numbers. But I just want to remind all of you, if you don't have this already, I'll put my email address towards the end. I can share this with anyone on here. And I know Leslie and Russ and Kelly and Jenny also likely have a copy of this, and I'm sure I'll be happy to share with anyone that would like it. Yet just a revisit of where am I? Where did I intend on being? Let's shift back over to our slides. That was a little bit of a segue into my professional goals. Now that I know what my life costs, I have an understanding of what I need in order to live the life I want to live. What are the goals that I've outlined in units? What are the goals I've outlined in GCI? Do they still apply? Has anything changed? Great news for many of you, you may find that your GCI per unit has increased. For some, you may have found that your GCI per unit has decreased. Either way, it's worth revisiting. Am I still earning the same per unit that I was earning in 2024? Do I need to make any adjustments? Question, are these goals still my goals? What does that mean? Of course they're goals. Thank you, Kelly, for popping that in chat box too. Are these still my goals? And the question around this is, did I outline goals that were truly my goals for me and for my family and for those that are important to me? Or did I just check the business planning box? Lots of transparency here. I probably went through business planning clinic 7 or 8 years in a row just to get it done. Went there, got the t-shirt, took the class, have the book, and the reality, they were just numbers. So it could be possible that it's worth revisiting. Are these still actually my goals that I intend on funding in 2025? The last question I put on this first screen, and it may feel a little odd, yet a question that's come up for myself as well as many clients that I get to work with. Do I deserve it? Do I deserve these goals I put out there? I'm not asking anyone to jump in here, and no one needs to necessarily come off mute. Yet if you are a high driver, you may find at some point that the business you have has exceeded what you thought possible for your life. Or perhaps you've done something that's worked so well, maybe like me, that you decided to stop doing it. So just a reminder, someone is going to sell real estate this year. Why not you? Do you deserve it? Absolutely. Does your family deserve it? Does it matter to you? Absolutely. Yet this is a struggle that does show up for many of us over and over and over again. Maybe this is giving you permission to feel normal for a second. It's okay to have that feeling. For those of you that don't have that feeling, you say, yes, I deserve everything. That's awesome for you too. And I'm sure that your significant other loves that about you. That was a sarcastic Philadelphia joke in there for a second. All right, we're going to keep going. It's not all serious. Where am I in relation to my goals? So what is my reality right now? How am I tracking? Second question on here, do I have a scoreboard? And what's on it? Am I looking at it regularly, and do I have a relationship with it? I've had the privilege over the years to be in some rooms with really incredible and smart people like Gary Keller, like Jay Papasan, who have shared that they have a relationship with their goals. Their goals live on a one-page document they call a 411. And for Gary, it's in his backpack. For Jay, it's either in his pocket or on his phone. They're looking at their goals on a regular basis, not to say, hey, I'm so great, look where I'm at. They're looking at their goals on a regular basis to inform their action plan. So that in the moment where they have time, they can be highly intentional. Last but not least on this page, what's actually on my schedule? There could be a follow-up question here is it my schedule or someone else's? Am I truly living out my schedule? And we're going to get into some strategies here in a moment. I know you're thinking, wow, these are a lot of questions. The point of these questions is just to cause you to think through before we get to the action part. Where am I spending my time? So we're going to dig deep for a second into your calendar. There's a kind of a trick question on here, fair warning. Does my calendar match my goals? My coach posed that to me at one point. He said, does your calendar match your goals? And because I also get to be coached, I said to my coach, of course it does. Or sometimes it doesn't. Or I don't know this week. Or I'm not sure. And he caught me on a week where my calendar didn't match my goals. And he challenged my thinking in a really great way. He said, I'm going to push back that your calendar always matches your goals. You're just not always proud of what's on your calendar. If it was important for you, you'd find a way. I pushed back a little. I said, I don't know if that's true. And he said, well, let's breathe through it for a second. If I said to you, hey, I've got tickets for the Masters coming up in Augusta, and you can have them, would you clear your schedule to go to the Masters? And I said, yes, in a second. I'd wipe everything out. So he said, so if that's an important goal, you'd find time. The challenge that we're really looking at is how do we make that urgency for things that need to show up in your calendar? But no surprise, I still have the same coach. He was asking me great questions and causing me to do different things on my calendar to get to what I intended on getting. What is the smallest change I can make right now that would have the biggest impact? So if you're a high driver and you're most of the way to your goals, or you're moving towards that, and there's just something a little bit off, is there a small change that I can make right now? Is there a small change that I'm willing to make right now? Question is there things that I can delete from my calendar that actually no one would notice? There's a second question there that's not on the screen. Are there some things that I could add to my calendar right now that everyone would notice? A good friend that ran the One Thing company for Gary Keller was partners with Gary and Jay for a long time. Jeff Woods actually lived in Colorado for a period of time. And Jeff asked me a question one evening. We met together in Austin for a bite to eat. And he said, who's getting the worst version of you? Who's getting what's left over? I said, Jeff, I thought we were friends. I know the answer to that. I'm not proud of it. And he asked me the follow-up question, what could you delete from your calendar that everybody who's important to you would notice? What could you remove? Spoiler, it was not lead generation. It was all the other stuff. All right, so there's something at the end here. The last bullet point on this slide, it says, grow my business in the morning, service my business in the afternoon. I stole this with lots of respect from my friend Jen Davis out of Springfield, Missouri, who sells a whole bunch of real estate. She said, if I focus on the morning to make a mess and the afternoon to clean it up, my business tends to grow over time. Grow in the morning, service in the afternoon, or make a mess in the morning, clean it up in the afternoon. All right, let's keep going. We're going to build from here. So how do I choose a new reality? What are the changes I can make? So if I've made maybe the observation today that the calendar that I outlined or that I'm living right now is not allowing me to hit what I intend on hitting. How do I make subtle changes? So there's an example on the screen of a scoreboard to think about. I get to coach some really big teams across our country and across our company. And what most of them have found is that if they just follow this simple acronym of DASH, it gives them a reality check of where they are. Of course, it's in a TCPA compliant way, these dials or these conversations, but they're tracking how many dials did I make or attempts that I make if it's another form, how many people answered or replied back if they're texting someone in a TCPA compliant way, how many appointments did I set, and then how many appointments did I hold? Those four categories for almost every team I've ever gotten to work with, if they track them on a regular basis, it's going to let them know what are the activities that are working. If they're making the dials and no one's answering, we're changing the time of day. We're changing the method. If they're making the dials, individuals are answering and we're not setting appointments, we're changing the dialogues. We're changing the conversations. We're changing the target group at times. If we're making the dials, individuals are answering, we're setting appointments, and no one is showing up, we're starting to interrogate what did they say yes to? Once we've really mastered those four things and we're tracking it 5 days a week, for some of these teams, it's as simple as having 5 people answer per day. For some teams, it's 10 people answer per day. For some that are in bold, it's 20 to answer per day, 20 conversations. And we're just adjusting their schedules, we're adjusting their activities so that they're getting their intended appointments. I had the privilege to co-facilitate business planning clinic last October with Jen Davis in Springfield. And she said for most of the individuals that she works with or has worked with, either as an agent on their team or as a coach, she's found that we're really good as an industry at tracking the number of listings I take, tracking the number of buyer agency agreements that I get signed. I'm not always good at looking at how many conversations that I have to have in order to set that appointment. How many appointments did I have to hold in order to get someone to sign a listing contract or a buyer's agency agreement? So as simple as my new reality being, could I have my conversations in the morning and then focus on serving my business or servicing my business in the afternoon? How do I find them motivated? Phil Jones, who's a fantastic thought leader and great person at words, to say the very least, as well as just a brilliant human, asks the question, where do I have relationships that contain unrealized opportunities? It could be as simple as scrolling through your contacts in your phone and asking the question of who has a relationship or what are the relationships in my phone, in my database, in Command or in whatever you're using for your database that may contain unrealized opportunities. Of course, there's the changes in life. We refer to them as the Ds: death, divorce, deployment, dividends, diapers, debt, diamonds. The list keeps going on. There's more you could add to that. But what are the changes in life that cause people to transact real estate no matter what? And are they in your phone? Do you already know them? Could you find them on social media? Do you have those relationships? Who's moving to Colorado? Who's leaving Colorado? And who are my referral partners that are going to help me get ahead of those conversations? We're going to keep going and building. What's my new schedule? So if you're here today and you're saying, yes, I'm behind schedule, I'm behind goal. My goal was to sell X, and I am not a quarter of the way there. Hey, by the way, that's me. I have a coaching business. That is my one thing. I also have to track my appointments. I also get to track how many conversations I have. And if I look at where I am year to date, I may be behind where I intended on being by March 17th. So what do I have to choose to do differently? So the choice I maybe get to make is, well, I wake up in the morning. That's the easy one. It's kind of out of my hands. I need to wake up. Determine when that wake up time is. And then I'm going to borrow from Gary Keller's MREA right on page 308. And Gary's energy plan is meditate and pray, exercise and eat, hug, kiss, and laugh, plan and calendar, and then lead generate. All done first thing in the morning. After I've gone through those categories and I've filled my buckets in each of those categories and I've had a day of lead generation, then I can start to check my emails. Then I can start to check my text messages. Then I can start to check my voicemails. But not until I do those other things that matter most. The days in which I choose to check my emails, texts, and voicemails first, the likelihood of me getting to those other 5 things is smaller. Sometimes I get this great idea that I'm going to exercise in the afternoon. Or I'm going to exercise in the evening. If you have kids or have ever been around kids, that usually isn't possible. If you don't have kids and have never been around kids and you have pets, it's very impossible. If you're just like most people, by the end of the day, you probably don't feel like exercising any longer. Just one example, lead generation for many of us shows up the same way. If I don't do it in the morning, I'm probably not going to do it that day. And my goal is 80% of the time. So if I work 5 days a week, could I have 4 days that would follow this schedule? if I just had 4 days a week that would follow this schedule, what would happen to my success? And then bring in support. You've got your new plan, you've got your activities, you've got your scoreboard. How do I bring in support to keep me accountable? Now, I put some examples that are training and accountability. There are plenty others. For some of you, you may be part of a productivity program. You may have accountability partners in your market center. You may be part of accountability groups. Those could easily go up on this screen as well. The 4 that I put up here, consider bringing in a coach to your world. Go to Bold because it has that team or that group environment. Go to Phil Jones' Critical Conversations in May. I got to spend almost a week with Phil Jones last January, and it absolutely changed my language, changed my dialogue, changed my conversations. It was worth the investment and the time of what do I need to say. So I know when to do it. I know who to contact. If I don't know what to say, I need to educate myself on the market of the moment and the conversations that will cause people to move forward. And then MegaCamp 2025. Does it make sense for me to go build my referral network at an event like MegaCamp in San Antonio? I know we're all looking forward to the lovely weather in San Antonio in August. I'm sure you're all super excited to leave Colorado at that time of year. You'd much rather go to San Antonio right now, as there's probably 17 feet of snow on the ground outside as we speak. All right, what are your questions, thoughts, feedback around this conversation?
Who has questions, comments, thoughts?
I've really enjoyed it because I think it's a good idea to kind of interrogate exactly what I'm doing and look at my schedule and see what I'm actually doing on my schedule.
Candy, thank you for that. It's eye-opening just by taking a look, like, where am I? What am I doing? Where am I spending my time? I've heard Gary say before that we need to make peace with the boredom of high focus. If I can stay in that lane and I can make peace with the boredom of high focus for an extended period of time each day of 2 to 3 hours in the morning, the rest of my life looks really good. The rest of my day can be filled with all the Gotta minutes, all the other things. And Erica, I'm glad to hear it's a nice and sunny day in Colorado. So it gives us a great opportunity to get on the phone, have some conversations with individuals in our database. I'm going to put up on the screen, Kelly, if it's okay, my contact information, just my email address. If you've got questions, if things come up and you're like, I don't know, I disagree with 99% of what you just said, and I just want to give you bad feedback, you could do that. Send me an email. Or you have further questions on how does this apply to my market? How does this apply to how I operate my business? Send me an email. I'll be more than happy to get on a call or schedule a Zoom with you to go through. Here's some adjustments we can look at. Here's some opportunities that we have right in front of us. Going back just for a second, you looked at a lot of the numbers of your local market right before we got into this activity portion. There are a lot of great conversations you could have with your database just around what's happening in Colorado. And it causes curiosity in those individuals that are in your database, which is really the game we're looking at. We've got a very unique business in that it rewards consistency. And it really does punish inconsistency. Almost every year, I see a friend or family member that lists their home with someone that isn't me. And the reality is because I didn't stay consistent long enough in my conversations. So please learn from some of these mistakes that perhaps I've made and maybe you've made in your past too. And if I can serve you in any way, please reach out. I will be more than happy to do so. Kelly, I'll turn it back over to you, and I'm happy to stay on for a minute if there's any other questions.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Tim, for being here today. You guys have his contact information. Our next regional rally is going to be on Monday, April 21st. So we will see you guys soon. Bye.